And we are now live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 2 of Real Talk. Today is April 26th, and we are joined by myself, Shane, and Nikki Hurley, as usual. And we have Johnny back with us. A bit of a continuation from episode 1 of Real Talk. We had Johnny in to discuss his healthcare fiasco at the time, and he gave us a bit of a teaser about where he was going next, some of the upcoming battles he was going to have that involved going to court, which is never pleasant, and he's got some other things on his mind too. So before we get into that, we're going to highlight a song written by a Canadian patriot, J.S., called We Ain't Livin'. It's been on posted in our group and all over. It's called We Ain't Livin', and I think the song speaks for itself. So we're going to play that song as a bit of an introduction to tonight's stream, and then we're going to get right back into a chat with Johnny. So without further ado, here we go.
It's been too long since I've seen Mom or a baseball game with Dad. We watch on separate TVs, we're told it ain't safe in the stands. I miss packed clubs and loud bands. I miss giving hugs and shaking hands. Just hold on a little longer, is what they're always saying. Now they're toying with our choices, and that's a game that I ain't playing. You got any questions, please don't ask. Sit down, shut up, and put on your mask. Hell no, 'cause I ain't afraid of dying. That's a bridge that we all cross, and we ain't ever gonna get back all these memories that we've lost. In the end, was it all worth it, or did we make the world stop spinning? No, I ain't afraid of dying. I'm just scared that we ain't living. 2 weeks, a month, a year gone by. Now our whole world's changed. All these rules and regulations are nothing but insane. They took our freedoms and killed them. Is anybody worried about the children? Well, I ain't afraid of dying. That's a bridge that we all cross, but we ain't ever gonna get back all the memories that we've lost. In the end, was it all worth it, or did we make the world stop spinning? No, I ain't afraid of dying. I'm just scared that we ain't living. Well, if you don't stand for something, you're gonna fall for everything. So take off the blindfold and burn the mask. Let's all join hands and sing. I ain't afraid of dying. That's a bridge that we all cross, but we ain't ever gonna get back all the memories that we've lost. In the end, was it all worth it, or did we make the world stop spinning? No, I ain't afraid of dying. I'm just scared that we ain't living. No, I ain't afraid of dying. I'm just scared that we ain't living. So let's start living. And that's what I have to say about that.
All right. I hope, guys, I really hope that came through as nice on your end as it does on our end, because what a beautiful song. I really have to say. I think we lost Nicky along the way there, but he will be back, I'm sure. Johnny, so a quick recap. We had you on a couple nights ago to talk about your endeavor at the hospital. You tried to receive some health care, you had a bit of a pickle, you had some obstacles, some hurdles to jump over. You managed to get there. And the important aspect, what we're trying to highlight here, is that you could have turned around, you could have said, okay, I'll leave, but you didn't. And you didn't kick up a stink, you didn't cause a fight. You pushed back lawfully and sensibly and calmly, and you were successful. And that is something I would really like to stress for other people. Everybody has different approaches. I get that. But you're going to have more success. A friend of mine likes to say you catch more bees with honey than sugar. Yeah. So there you go, right? With that kind of mentality in mind, that's the approach you took. So we got you back because at the end of that episode, you had teased us with the fact that you had to go to court. So why don't you fill us in on how that endeavor went?
Well, the last going off there, I was talking to you guys here, and I had mentioned I talked to the lady from the courthouse, and she said email her and with your requests, but she kind of figured that wouldn't my request. I wanted to be in the courtroom in person. She kind of figured, no. So anyway, the next day I was sitting around, I'm thinking. I said, like, this is not something. I got to do something. I said, I'll call the superintendent of the high sheriff's over in Corner Brook. So I called him. How you doing? Told him who I was. So the way he sounded was like he knew who I was, because I guess maybe they called in from St. John's. So I said, I got a problem. I can't get to the courthouse. Well, he said, we can't. Our sheriff's group there, but we can't do nothing. Like, they're working for the courthouse. I said, well, your guys are breaking the law. And I explained to him how to break the law. And he said, who else did you talk to about this? I said, well, I've put a complaint with the Human Rights Commission, waiting for a call back from them. And I said, I made some more phone calls. Well, he said, there's no need to worry. He said, I'll send you a complaint form. Give me your email. I said, yeah, but that still don't rectify this problem. I can't get in the courthouse. Well, he said, you're going to have to call the courthouse. I said, like, so that's your men, or people, men, women. I said, you're the boss over them. Like, if I'm telling you they're breaking the law, and I show you they're breaking the law, they're breaking the law. No, he said, not really. I said, well, he said, what are you saying? I said, well, they're asking them to break the law because I'm not allowed in. Well, he said, you're not allowed in because, from my understanding, it's a judge's order. I said, oh, so you do know this? Yeah. I said, well, guess what? I said, Mr. Judge is breaking the law. And he stopped. I said, I got to go there Thursday, I think it was. I said, I'm probably going to have a couple of RCMP officers behind me. He said, what do you mean? I said, because I'm coming for a leave, and I'm putting them on standby because I'm going to need them. Right? I'm going to need them. So, no. He said, no. He said, I'll send you the complaint form. Don't do nothing. He said, don't do nothing irrational, he said, and I'll straighten out. So I got the phone, and I was sitting there. I said, this is, I think I'm beating a dead horse. So I said, I may as well call the courthouse again. So I called the courthouse, looking for this lady. No, she's in Harbour Grace today. I said, oh, okay. So I called Harbour Grace. Said, looking for this lady, Tanya. Yeah, oh, she's here. Hang on, sir. She put me on hold. On comes Tanya. How are you doing, Mr. O'Reilly? I said, good. I got it all straightened out for you. You can be to court this Thursday. Nothing. I said, no mask, no nothing. So I said, hang on, I can't count my chickens for the hatch because I got a strange feeling if I get there, I mightn't get in because you know how wires get crossed, miscommunication. Anyway, I go there the next day and butterflies everywhere. I said, I'm not going to get in there. I'm home that. So I go into the door and I'm not in through the door. And one of the sheriff's more, hi, Mr. O'Reilly. How are you today? I said, good. You got court here today? I said, yes, I do, sir. So another one says, you don't need to wear a mask. So I know. And one says, would you like a shield? I said, no, thank you. Okay, go over and sit down. That was it. And got in, did my hearing. The judge was very nice. The crown was very nice. I come out of it, walked out. I said, thank you guys, have a great day, and walked on. So if you don't push it, you're not going to get nothing. Like, you know, when you're going to get opposition from everyone with this. And if you've got to push. If you don't push, you may as well stay home in your house. Right?
That's true.
Right?
I'd like to bring you back to something you said at the start. The judge. It was the judge ordering or claiming or deciding that you weren't going to be allowed in initially, right?
Yep. Actually, that came from because I went there twice with two separate judges, and two of them said, no, you're not allowed in here. You have to do it by phone.
So they're trying to supersede your right to a courtroom, to in-person justice, and they're trying to have you what? Call over the phone or have a Zoom meeting?
Yep, exactly.
For a trial?
Yep. Well, that's for a hearing. Yep. And I said no. I said I need to be in person because I need to look at this judge and talk to him. And it was a different judge. So, and I think they put a different judge in there because it was a bit of a conflict of interest, right? So.
Yeah.
And if I had to walk in there and there was one of the judges that said no, I would have said I apologize, guys, but you're going to have to get another judge because this is a conflict of interest, right off the bat.
Exactly.
Right.
Something that the audience should be well aware of. We're not, and I don't mean this in a trivial sense, but this isn't just going to a grocery store. This isn't just getting a service provided to you. This is the highest, the place with the most jurisdiction essentially in our province. I mean, I don't think you were at the Supreme Court, so that would be there, but you were in a court meant to uphold the law of the land, right?
Yep.
And all it took was a bit of pushing on your end to force those in charge to apply their own laws.
Well, what it was, I got them to read their law. I told them, I says, it's all wrote in there. Read it and tell me I'm wrong, basically. And I guess they read it and said, well, we can't do this to him because we're breaking the law. You know, the law shouldn't be breaking. No one should be breaking the law, but especially the law shouldn't be breaking the law.
Exactly. Right? Exactly. That's a really good segue, Johnny, because a member of one of our groups here on the East Coast made up a document and posted it for the rest of us to be able to use. They've had some success. They visited a couple of stores, a couple of locations today, had some chats with managers, passed out some information, read over some stuff, and this is all government information. I want to stress this is the public health order that our province enacted, and these are the guidelines that they've set forth, and businesses are using this as their piece of legislation, their rules, right? And this is where the mask mandate is. This is where businesses having to close and all. That's where they get that authority from, is this provincial public health order. So I have something here that I want to share the screen with you guys, and hopefully the audience there as well. How's that showing up on your guys' end there? You see the special measures order?
Yeah, I'm on my phone. I'll see. It might be.
So I'm just going to zoom. I'm going to zoom in a little bit just so people can see. But this is a double-sided document. This is the first page, the first side of it there. This is the special measures order for masks. So to all, and this is straight from our Public Health Protections and Promotions Act, right? To all individuals and businesses operating in Newfoundland and Labrador, and then they do their whole yada yada yada. Whereas COVID this, COVID that, and then it gets into the actual mask mandate, mandatory masks. It tells you where masks are mandatory for, what, and it's an extensive list. And then it gets to exemptions, and it says, notwithstanding Order 1 above, masks are not required for the following individuals or in the following circumstances. And it has a list. First of all, it's children under the age of 5. And that's the very bingo right off the bat. Now, the next one is people with physical or mental health conditions. So people whose particular physical condition or mental health prevents them from wearing a mask. And then there's people for during treatment, physical activity, for showing ID, of course you can't, and in certain seated areas. The other thing I really want to highlight is the back of this page. And Johnny, this is something you had alluded to in our first interview with you. This is the offenses section. So anybody who's not following this act, this is what can be applied to you. So anybody who's not following this act gets to have fines levied upon them. And the important thing to remember is that the mask exemption is part of the act. So it's not just enforcing people having to wear masks. It's enforcing the entirety of the act, and you don't get to pick and choose what sections you're going to enforce. So you have to enforce the mask exemption as well as the mask mandate. So that document is posted in our Unify the People NL Newfoundland page for sure. I will cross-post it into our Unify the People main page. It's a PDF form. It's double-sided front and back. It's really handy, and if you're not from Newfoundland, I can almost assure you there's identical language written in your provincial act as well. So if you're not from Newfoundland, look at what's there and look for your own act in your province. You can almost substitute the word Newfoundland with your province and find exactly what it is you're looking for.
And Shane, also to reiterate, is not only corporations get the fine, is the individual, right? That's the thing. Is the individual is before someone said, "Oh, what else? The company will get a fine." No, if you're doing this, you're going to get a fine because it's individuals, and there's also where a person is a corporation. So it's both, right?
Do you have the wording there in front of you?
Yeah, it says for the first offence is for an individual's fines not less than 500, not more than 2,500, or imprisonment for not more than 6 months, or both fine and imprisonment. And it also says where a person or a corporation to a fine not less than 5,000 and not more than 50,000. And then also if say a day later they do it again, is a separate charge, is a separate offense. So if I go there 3 days in a row, you won't let me in 3 days in a row, that's 3 charges.
3 separate offenses. And we have a Facebook user here who just wanted to highlight that's section 56.
Yeah, section 56, yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, offense.
Yeah, and that's under offenses, right? Yeah. So that's it's right, and it's right at the center of that flyer too. Yeah. So yeah, Nikki, do you have anything you'd like to weigh in on here with what Johnny was just telling us about? You were present for his healthcare fiasco, and you just heard about him being able to enter a courtroom with all you got to do is stand up. So what do you think?
Well, as Johnny had said there, if you can hear me, and hopefully you can, is know your rights. And like you like to use, and I use from somebody, it's not my saying, get educated to get liberated. That's simple.
Well, Nikki's notorious for keeping it simple, especially on these streams. And we do thank him for that, because we often run a lot longer than we planned. But get educated to get liberated. That we say that in all of our streams, and that's not just a turn of phrase, because Johnny, you prove it right every single time we talk to you. And many others, including the individual who did up this document for us, who has already had success in a couple of locations and plans on going to some others. You know, that information will be available at our May 1st rally at our Confederation building. So anybody who wants to get a copy of that for themselves, if you don't have a printer, wait a couple of days and come to our May 1st rally. We'll have a copy for you. If you have a printer and you can print it off by your own, it's up on our Unify the People NL page. So Johnny, you had success eventually in the hospital. You had success eventually in the courtroom. Well, at least in terms of getting into the courtroom. That part, the next part doesn't matter. What about the future? What's the future hold for John O'Reilly?
Well, this week I've got. I'm going to do a little bit of educating. A few businesses in the area. There's quite a few businesses in the area that are right down on people who don't wear a mask, and once you mention you got an exemption, it doesn't apply to us because we're a private business. But and another thing too, like I know tomorrow when I go to a business, they're probably going to call the RCMP. I can guarantee that's going to happen. But and I know what the RCMP are going to come there because it happened to a friend of mine. Well, we're going to charge you under the Petty Trespass Act. But I got my I read up on that too, so that's not cut and dry like everyone thinks it is. There is not a loophole, but there's something stating in there that it is what it is. I'm going to leave that here now as it is because hopefully I'll update you next week on that.
Well, I tell you what, Johnny, I'll let you tease that one really nicely because I have the document you're talking about on my screen here. Yep. This is the Petty Trespass Act for Newfoundland, and this is something that businesses will threaten individuals with when they refuse service and you try to push the buttons, they say, well, we're going to have you charged under the Petty Trespass Act. It's not a long one. It's Section 2 here talks about how you can trespass, whether it's on land, on the factory, inside, yada, yada, yada. Section 3 talks about your liability, right? But when we get down here to Section 6, and I can't stress enough the irony of this, the section is entitled Saving. As in, this section is saving you from being charged. It says, nothing in Sections 2 and 3, which is what I just highlighted for you, nothing in Sections 2 and 3 extends to a case where the person trespassing acted under a fair and reasonable belief that he or she had a right to do the act complained of.
Exactly.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but we just elaborated how what you're doing is lawful. So if somebody threatens you with the Petty Trespass Act, you can very confidently highlight and refer to Section 6 of that act and stand lawfully in what you're doing.
And tell them you're under the authority of the law because it is law. It is what it is. And because the mask mandate came down from Public Health and Promotion Act, that's why I can't go in your business, and that's it is what it is.
Yeah. I'm getting a comment that I'm not able to highlight from Blair. Blair, what do I think of a store owner private messaging an underage girl on Facebook Messenger about their mask, or I'm assuming probably lack of mask? The age doesn't matter to me. It makes it worse, but with or without the underage part, if that store owner wants to start private messaging people about their wearing of a mask in their store, then they're going to find out pretty quickly, as Johnny's already highlighted, how the law is going to work against them on that. we're not looking to stir the pot. We're not looking to create conflict. But at the same time, you can't be a doormat. You can't be rolled over.
Yeah, but how many people are Shane right now? How many people is after sitting in the car, getting a nerve up to go in the store because they have to put a mask on and they can't, and they're afraid to say no. They're saying, "No, I can't wear it." Like I know people gets in there and comes out and hauls it off, and they gasping for air. Like seriously, like and I don't understand. I don't have how our beautiful problems got the way it did with people like just being so hell bent on it. Like it's scary, actually.
It is. It's scary, sad. There's a lot of different metaphors for that one. I just wanted to highlight this comment here because a lot of people like to say, "Oh, it's a private business; they can do what they want." They're open to the public under their business license, and a business license or a service that's customarily available to the public can't be denied or discriminate against you for your mask exemption. Your mask exemption is fully lawful and legal. Therefore, yeah. Just wanted to highlight that. So Johnny, you're going to be. I think we're going to wrap this one up pretty soon, but you're going to be heading out to some other stores. I know Nikki's got something else on his mind. John, you're going to some other stores to do some shopping. You mentioned education that you're going to do. Yeah. We talked earlier. I got schooled in the comment section. It's you get more bees with honey than vinegar. So you're going to be doing some educating, but it's going to be sensible, reasonable.
It's going to be my style. So it works so far. So I'm hoping, and I told myself not to get agitated, and just do what I did before. So I should have no problem. If I do get agitated, just walk away. Like that's it.
Wise words, Johnny. Wise words. What do you have to say, Nikki?
Oh, well, I mentioned it, what Johnny has said before, but this is kind of on like a different note because we're coming to an end, and I thank both you and Johnny for being here. But people are talking about, one of my favorite sections or topics is the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. They're talking about mobility rights. Now, to go along with that, if anyone has a passport, I advise you to open the cover and read what that says. Now, other patriots have done that at other rallies. They had their passport there. Just open to read what that says, with being allowed to pass through without any due hindrance. And I bring that up because people are talking about the Charter, right? My freedoms, my rights. You have unalienable rights. You can see what they're doing with the rights that are written down on the paper. They're ignoring them. And I just wanted to bring that to a final point, right, to tie into what I had said earlier. Thank you.
That's a big one, guys. Go look at your passport. He's right. If you take your liberties, your rights, your freedoms seriously in any way, shape, or form, you should be sickened by the words that are on your passport. And then conversely, the state of what's going on between, say, trying to travel between provinces. Let's say you were coming from the West Coast into Ontario and you just wanted to enter the province and you were stopped and turned around by the Queen's Cowboys. You have a passport, a Canadian passport, that enshrines your citizenship's right to travel unencumbered throughout this landmass known as Canada. If you're not going to take that seriously, the government will take it from you. So that's a good one. All right, Johnny, I'm hoping to get you back in a couple of days as well for another recap. You seem to be a hit with the audience here as well. They seem to really like you in the comment section. So we're interested. There's a lot of support here with people thankful for what you're doing. Hopefully it's going to help some people. We'll get you back again. So we do thank you for coming, Johnny.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Nikki, as well, thanks for joining me again. Man, a few words, but wise as always. Guys, this has been episode 2 of Real Talk on April 26th. We had, this is a continuation of Johnny's first episode. So if you haven't seen Johnny's first episode, Healthcare Fiasco, check out our YouTube, Unify the People on YouTube. Our logo is 4 puzzle pieces in different colors. There are some other YouTube channels under that kind of a name. Those are not ours. We are simply Unify the People with 4 puzzle pieces, just like our Facebook page, Unify the People with 4 puzzle pieces. Guys, thank you for listening, whether live with us now or on a repeat. I do appreciate it. And as always, you guys stay sovereign.